back on Dosewallips this last weekend in July. This time we're going up the main fork, the north fork of the Dosewallips. And this is a one-way trip on the Dosewallips River. I've got 9 days of food in my pack. It is really heavy, let me tell you. Heading up to Dosewallips Campground today. This trip we will be going up the North Fork, almost to the headwaters up by Meadows. Up at Meadows I will meet up with Bending Willow, who's coming in from the other direction. We will then join and go up over Grey Wolf Pass and into the Grey Wolf drainage and out and northward to the Forest Service roads leading back to Squim at the northern edge of Olympic National Forest. Then at that point, she will drive me back to my vehicle here at Dosewallips. So, not going to do a whole lot of filming today. We're just getting up to the campground and then up to Deception Creek and on to Dose Meadows. That is all covered in other videos. We'll pick up most of our filming after I meet up with Bending Willow, and I may do a day trip up to Hayden Pass before heading up to Grey Wolf. Do a lot of filming on Grey Wolf, and then down into the Grey Wolf drainage, maybe swinging by Cedar Lake. We haven't decided yet. So that is the plan for the next week plus, and I'll see you on up the trail. Good morning. This is the morning of our second day. Yesterday we hiked up, had dinner at the Dosewallips Campground, and then after dinner moved up here to Dose Forks Campground, where I have spent the night here. Good morning, so everything's just strewn all over the place while I get to pack up. Got the gravity water filter going. This campground was actually full last night. All the campsites were taken. I got the last viable site, other that there are sites back in the woods that are flat that are not actual sites. Today we are headed up to Deception Creek, a campsite I've passed but I've never camped at. Then the third day we'll go into Dose Meadows. That is the plan for right now. Again, all this has been section of trail has been on other videos, so I'm not going to film a whole lot. But of course, if anything happens, I'll whip out something and film. Alright, see you on down the trail. Shout out, thank you to our awesome trail crew who makes this a lot easier for us. And viewers need to wonder about anyone who remembers specific blowdowns from 3 years earlier. Alright, it's been a long day too. We are now coming into Deception Creek Camp for the night. There might be someone else up here. I will shade the camera to the side to protect their privacy. large campsite to my left that I'm not filming. That right there may be my spot tonight. We're checking others. There's that site. No. Trail and stock camp. No. Could go back to the river site. Because I have acid reflux digestive issues, I don't mind a slope site. This site does have some slope to it, but that's not a deal breaker for me. Home, sweet home. All right, this is the trail. This is also prime bird habitat. So what we do is we come through here and we keep talking loudly. Like hiker coming through, bear knows the bears. Hiker coming through, bear knows the bears. So I like that better than hey bear, hair bear. Hey bear tends to imply that there's a bear there. Not to mention, this is early in the morning and it rained last night, and I'm basically soaked. I didn't think to put on the rain gear, especially the rain pants, and they're quick drying. All I have on is quick drying, but I am basically soaked, and I think we're gonna have sun this afternoon. I'm changing my shorts and dry these pants as best we can. All right, another shout out. Any bears around the corner? Hiker coming through. Hiker coming through. Any bears? All right. Oh, hello there. Not using the trekking poles because I'm filming. All right. We got wildflowers. We got berries. Prime place for a bear to hang out. We've got the upper North Fork. I'm not sure where Lost Pass comes down. I'm not sure where we're headed to. Meadows, somewhere up there. We have already passed to cut off the gray wolf, but I'm gonna put the GoPro away so I can use the trekking poles again and keep shouting out to the bears. Meadows. There's a bear up there. Look, he's between the trees in the center and the rock outcrops. He's below that. There's a rock outcrop, there's a line of trees, and he's in the middle of that line of trees to the right of the rock outcrop. Moving down, he was moving down the hill, and he was moving to the right, and now he has just stopped. Now I think he realizes that there are a whole bunch of humans down here. There's about 6 people here pointing at the bear. I have just walked in and gonna go back up and find a place to drop my pack. I'm gonna keep the bear in frame if I can. All right, bear back in frame. Moving again. He's moving a little bit to the left. He's coming downhill slightly. He's still underneath the trees to the right of the rock outcrop. He's getting in between the trees to the right of the outcrop and the trees that are lower down on the hill. If I knew how to operate the magnification on the GoPro, we'd have better luck here. Anyway, there's a lot of people here at Dosewallips Meadows, a popular summer campsite, and there's a little bit more. You can see him a little bit better. He's the black dot moving around. That's all you gotta know. There's just a black dot up there. That is a bear. He's now looks like he's gonna go in behind those trees and out of view. Bear is out of view for now. I'm gonna find a place to drop the pack and keep an eye on the hillside there. All right. So no one took these spots. Why did no one take these spots? Well, we're not going to argue. Betty Willow came down from Lost Pass about 2 hours later, joining me for dinner, meaning she was above and to the right of the 2 bears as I filmed the lower one from the meadow. Day 4 was a rest day for us, and we spent much of it in Dosewallips Meadows as she tried to educate me about wildflowers. Later in the afternoon, we moved 2 miles to Bear Camp to set up for our ascent the following day. We have made it to Bear Camp. So, spinning this way, we have a beautiful sight here. Step back in here, you have an even larger sight. Nice. Ready to drop the pack and set up the tent. Day 5, we set off on our 4-mile, 2,600-foot elevation climb from the Dosewallips River up to the top of Grey Wolf Pass. Looking at the trail, that because the trail is narrow and drop off, I forget looking out to see the view that is there. Yep. But half the reason for the trip is to see the view, but the other half of the reason for the trip is not to die. And then there were the blowdowns, 16 of them, which we loudly counted off as we stepped over them. Most of them, like this one, were easy. But number 12 was a pack-off monster due to substantial limbs remaining on it. After crawling over, I half-jokingly said, "We should have set up the camera and filmed that." And she gave me the evil eye that signaled, "There is no way I am going back over that just so we can film it." So you do not get an image of it. But halfway point, we stop and catch our breath and enjoy the view.
Point at him out. Look, it's so pretty. Oh my gosh.
About 3/4 of the way up, and I had drunk my 2-liter bladder dry, although I had some left in the Nalgene bottle. We came to the stream which we suspected was the last water source. We debated just to top the Nalgene off and go for a top, but in the end opted to drop our packs and use my gravity-fed filter system with the bladder connection to refill the bladders.
Hallelujah, dear Lord. I have received thy message. I see the sign.
She said, "Let's do Grey Wolf Pass. It would be fun," she said.
I lied through my teeth. Now we just have to figure out where we're going to set up camp. We got to be near water.
Grey Wolf Pass is up behind those trees, and it's loose, it's a rocky switchback downhill from the pass down to here, and we are camped just on the other side of those trees. Upper Grey Wolf Basin. Grey Wolf Pass, right behind the trees. You come down that scree field on a series of switchbacks. Trekking poles, highly advised. Remains of Gray Wolf Glacier at the top. Coming down, we've got one of two collection ponds and the beginning headwaters of the Gray Wolf River. Going down the Gray Wolf Drainage Valley.
That was too pretty.
Hiking through an old avalanche chute here. The dead trees are indicative that snow came off the mountain behind us, and this is the run out where all the trees ended up. We will turn around in just a few more feet and see where all that snow came from. The trees behind us are actually regrowing. It's not a seasonal avalanche chute, but behind there is where it came from. Poppy, what should our criteria for break spots be on this trip?
The perfect sitting spot? Well, number one, you've got to find a good rock or log to sit on. Number two, access to water. Top off your bladder or your water bottle. It's cool and refreshing. Number three is shade and maybe a cool breeze, unless it's cold, in which case you want a spot that has some nice sun filtering through to warm you. 4 is minimal bugs. We don't like bugs. And number 5 is a view. Nothing like sitting in the forest on a log, listening to the water and looking across at a beautiful, beautiful view.
Gray Wolf River coming on down, picking up side streams as it comes down. I came over here. I'm not sure that's the best choice. So I did is I stepped over that thing, came around that log, and then sort of fell into the bank. Morning, we are here at Falls Camp. The site there. Benning, Will, and I have been up in there testing the levelness of how level you can sleep on. There's a site here.
We had a plan A and plan B. One was to go to Cedar Lake, which is a 2.5 mile primitive trail from here. The plan B was to camp here if we just didn't feel up to another 2.5 miles.
This over here is the remains of the shelter that was here before arson burned it down. Bending Willow will have more on that in her video. Water for here is down on the river rock. You cannot go to the left. Trust me. The center is the closest source of water. The quickest route to collect water is back through that mess. The collection site is a little tricky due to logs. Bending Will and I followed the rock bed to the right and keep going right. Keep going right. Do not try to go through the forest. That's from experience. Follow the river rock. River rock takes you to the river. You finally come to this place, and starting to look upstream. I'm guessing this is why they call it the falls. Log jam. Gray Wolf River. Those aren't beavers, this is real log jam. We're only a couple hundred feet down the trail and here's another log jam. Another 100 feet, another log jam. All right. Bending Willow is investigating even closer. Okay, she left here. I don't know where she went to. She left there. I thought I was going to get her, but... Too close to the nest. Bird is not happy with us. Was that fun or what? You were terrified, weren't you?
I stopped and took a photo.
Oh, this is the junction.
This is the junction.
All right.
This is the junction. Everything comes together right there and right there.
Okay.
So this one crosses the river. There's a bridge right over there that crosses Cameron Creek. And right over there is Three Forks.
Okay.
And we go this way.
And we will go that way. Okay. Graves. Grey Wolf Pass, Slab Creek, Grey Wolf River, Cameron over that direction. And we got a third of a mile, you said? Coming into Grey Wolf Camp. Oh, we crossed the bridge?
Somebody's already in that campsite.
Ah, that's right. There are campsites on both sides of the river. Three Forks Camp is a second camp on the other side. Privy apparently is on the other side of the river too. But campsites on the other river side of the river are taken, she says. So we are coming down here. Looks like in a moment we have it for ourselves. It may not last. We're early tonight.
I'll be turning that into the park.
Yeah.
Trade them for my necklace.
That is the site we took. There's a small site over here. There's a site here. About 2 hours after the last video was shot, it's about dusk and I was still up, and another gal came into camp looking totally exhausted. Campsite next to us was still open, so thought she was going to go there, but she came in and I thought it was due just an initial greeting. Her first words to me were, "Do you have satellite communication?" So that woke me up right away. I said yes, I got my Garmin Inreach. I asked her what was going on, and was expected to be out that night, which meant people were expecting her. She still had, it was dusk, she had 4 more miles of steep uphill, and she was in no shape to hike any longer. So she was going to camp where we were. She just had to get a message out so people wouldn't worry or even cause a needless search and rescue. So I got my Garmin Inreach and was able to text her contacts and let them know what was going on. I also talked to her about hiking solo without communication. She had her iPhone The iPhone that doesn't yet have the satellite communication ability, it may be coming, but she didn't have a version with it. So until that happens, if you're going to be out solo, you need to have communication. So the other thing that we talked about with this gal is that she had just come down in one day what Benny and Will and I had done in 3 days. And that is a section of trail that is not well traveled. You will see people every 4 to 6 hours if you stay on the trail. If you step off the trail, go to the bathroom, you're probably not going to be seen if something happens. If you take a spill on the scree field, you might slide to a point where you're injured but not life-threatening, but you still can't be seen from the trail. So this thing can save your life. I've had accidents out there. I took a spill on a wet bridge once and I went down hard. Benny Will actually had an accident where she went down on this trip and spent 20 minutes looking at the beautiful bruise on her leg, and that is why she only has one trekking pole for the last half of the video. So yeah, the animals out there are not a problem. There have not been any reported bear or cougar fatalities in Olympic National Park. Don't ask about mountain goats. Accidents happen out there. People disappear. 2022, a gal didn't come out. It took 4 days before they started search and rescue because she was hiking solo. They eventually found some of her gear and concluded that she had probably taken a bad fall at a bad spot, but as far as I know, her body was never found. And again, that was partly because they didn't even start searching for 4 days. 2021, a gal with part of a group actually just took a game trail rather than the main trail at a point and hiked for a considerable distance before she realized her mistake. She then tried to go cross country to vector to back to the main trail, and again a bum ankle, and she was so far off the trail. The search and rescue that was launched that immediately, because people in her group went double back, and they notified search and rescue the next morning. Search and rescue couldn't find where she was significantly off trail. It wasn't until a few days later that an aircraft that joined the search, and she was able to flag it down, and they were able to get her out without too much. It was the only damage being a bum ankle and a little bit of hypothermia, and she was wet. So again, this thing can save your life. Both of these would have been solved had these people had some sort of satellite communication. I carry the Garmin Inreach. It has texting and it has tracking. There are other devices. I'm not going to go into the details of this device because there are plenty of other videos on YouTube going through all the functionality. I'm not going to compare this device to spot devices or other devices because I don't have those other devices, although Benny Will does have a spot. But the important thing is if you're going to be out there multiple days, you've got to have communication of some sort. This thing can save your life. They talk about hiking with a buddy. I was in Scouts for 20 years. I always told the Scouts, hike with a buddy. Because if something happens to you, your buddy runs down the trail and gets help. This is my buddy. This can get me help faster than someone running down the trail. If I hit the SOS button on the side here, it sends my exact GPS location, and then I can follow up with a text message of what is wrong. Did I just break my ankle, but I'm not in a life-threatening situation? Or was I totally stupid and tried to pet a bear and got mauled and therefore need a more rapid response? And even with this, there are places I will not go solo. Benny Will and I had actually planned to go into the Upper Queets drainage over Labor Day. Her work prevented that from happening. I've been the first 12 miles on the Queets Trail solo. I'm not going beyond that solo because it is too remote. And even with this device, it's an area where I will not go solo. So there are even limits to having this device that you gotta use a little bit of common sense on. This thing also has tracking on it. If something should happen to me, like a tree falls and knocks me unconscious, people will find out where the last ping was on my last ping. And if it's not moving, they're going to come right to this device. So even if I'm incapacitated, and I send out messages at least twice a day to let people know And so if someone doesn't get a message, they're going to get real suspicious. So as I said, that's my lecture for this trip. You have communication out there. This thing, again, could save your life. Well, 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 what do we have here? Christy, I knew you were a tree hugger.
I am a tree hugger to the end. Just don't love this one. Oh. Oops, broke the bark. Next. Your legs are longer than mine. You should do fine. Ta-da!
500 feet after the last blowdown, we hit the sign welcoming us to the Olympic National Park, Olympic National Forest boundary. So this means anyone coming in the other direction after hiking 4 miles in the Olympic National Forest hit the boundary and 500 feet later are greeted by the first blowdown. Coming up on the Gray Wolf River. Over here, we have Duckin Flats camp area. We are not staying at Duckin Flats, but it is here. We are turning around. We are coming back to what's its name bridge over the Gray Wolf River with a big step up for the first one. And there's Bending Willow. Okay, trying to do this and not hold on to the railing, which may not be smart. Beautiful bridge. Beautiful river. Another big step down. I'm going to try holding the railing this time. Be a little bit smarter, safer, whatever you want to call it. We are going down to Slab Camp. I don't know how close it is, but apparently it is very close. And I'm keeping the GoPro running. After the trip voiceover here, as I did not record anything on our final half day out. This was my longest trip ever, and the weather cooperated so I could pack more food and less clothing. My route, up Dosewallips and out Gray Wolf, was relatively easy, but Bending Willow coming down the primitive trail from Cameron Pass and Lost Pass had more challenging obstacles to deal with, which will be on her video. There will likely be one more fall backpack outing on this channel before the fall equinox signals it is time to put the overnight gear away. However, there has been discussion of a day's snowshoeing outing in a few months. Thank you for watching. Please give a like, leave a comment, and enjoy the final dusk image that Bending Willow spent setting up at Slab Camp. Okay, river's right over there. This will be where we'll be spending our final night camping. Oh, and look at the perfect bench. It doesn't get better than this.
I never met a bench I didn't like.